Trump's second term begins. Politicians from various countries attended his inauguration ceremony, giving Trump enough honor. Although his good friend Xi Jinping failed to attend the invitation, he sent a high-level envoy, Han Zheng, who is also the highest level of China, to attend the inauguration ceremony of a foreign head of state. Xi Jinping and Trump have not met for a long time. I think he is willing to attend Trump's inauguration, even if it will raise the status of the United States. But Trump is a person who does not play by the rules. He is likely to interact closely with Xi Jinping, and then Xi Jinping learned about the news that the United States has increased sanctions on China on the plane back. This is not a joke. At the G20 summit in Argentina, Trump and Xi Jinping talked and laughed. Then on the plane back to China, Xi Jinping learned that Canada had arrested Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou, and it was the U.S. government that made the arrest request. It is said that Trump did not know about it, and it was his national security advisor Bolton who operated it. Can you believe it? A country's security advisor made a decision that could have a major negative impact on the relationship between the two countries without the authorization of the president. Either they are making up lies, or Trump cannot fully control the government, which is a very terrible thing. So facing such a government, Xi Jinping was right not to attend Trump's inauguration. No matter what agreement he can reach with Trump, Americans may not recognize it at any time. Instead of pinning our hopes on Trump's mercy, we should make adequate plans to deal with various actions Trump may take. Trump claimed that he would sign 100 executive orders on the first day, and some versions said 200. However, it is impossible for a superpower like the United States to make a sharp turn. Trump can issue 10,000 orders, but it still takes time to implement them. So his actions are just performances to attract attention. I remember when he was running for election, he said that he would end the Russian-Ukrainian war within 24 hours after his election. I bet a bag of potato chips that he can't do it. The president of a country treats serious national policies as a joke and talks nonsense casually. Can such a country be great? A president who issued currency and made a lot of money before taking office, can he make the United States great again? Although I am full of doubts about Trump's ability to make America great again, there is one thing I believe in him, that is, to make America bigger. He has added Greenland, the Panama Canal, and Canada to his shopping cart. But in my opinion, Greenland is most likely to be swallowed by him. The United States may legally annex Greenland, or it may take other means to indirectly control Greenland. In any case, it is time for the Danish government to prepare to say goodbye to Greenland. As for poor Panama, there is a sword hanging over its head at any time. If one day, the U.S. military suddenly invades, remember to raise the white flag at the first time. I suggest that the president of Panama surrender voluntarily. Maybe he can spend fewer years in prison. And Trudeau, congratulations on his release. He was right to resign before Trump took office. He should hold elections as soon as possible and put pressure on the new prime minister. Whether to become the governor of a Canadian state or remain independent, let the new prime minister worry. Trump may not have much interest in Canada. He just wants to use political blackmail to make Canada give up more economic benefits and sign a trade agreement that is more favorable to the United States. And Mexico, don't happy to watch other people's jokes. All agreements signed by the Biden administration may be invalidated at any time. Trump will make more demands. If Mexico does not obey, be prepared to meet the big stick from Uncle Sam. Trump may not be so persistent about whether the Gulf of Mexico should be renamed the Gulf of America, but it is necessary for Mexicans to stop taking advantage of the United States and pay more protection fees. I can predict that Trump's influence will truly cover the entire North America, forming a loose North American empire, and he is the head of this empire. As for Europe, don't worry about the Ukrainian problem, or quickly see how much money is in your vault and prepare to pay protection fees to the United States. Increase military spending as a percentage of GDP, purchase more weapons and more American energy, and lower tariffs on American products and market access standards. Otherwise, wait for a slap from the American master. I really want to see which country can show the courage to defend Europe and fight against the United States like it did to Russia. France, Poland, and other countries that previously claimed to send troops to Ukraine, your tough moment has come. Since you can fight against Russia, why should Europe pay protection fees to the United States? The United States sanctions Europe, and Europe will fight back in kind. The Americans withdraw their troops, and Europe will send them off. The United States withdraws from NATO, and you will lead NATO yourself. I'm afraid you are bragging too much and can't deliver. In other words, most international organizations in the world, whether it is the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, NATO, the North American Free Trade Agreement, etc., have no binding force in front of Trump. As long as he wants, he can change the rules. Except for a few countries such as China and Russia, most countries in the world are always powerless in the face of the United States. For example, Australia and New Zealand, although they do not have to define themselves as the 51st state of the United States like Canada, they can define themselves as overseas territories of the United States. As for Japan and South Korea, they are not even qualified to complain. They just need to wait for the verdict. They are just colonies. As long as they rely on the protection of the United States and the American market in politics and military, all countries must implement Trump's will, sacrifice themselves, and make the United States successful. The United States is so domineering that other countries may obey on the surface and dare not resist. It may gain some benefits in a short time, but these benefits are not enough to make America great again. Because the fundamental condition for America to be great again is to make the United States have productivity and production efficiency that exceed China. If this problem cannot be solved, no matter how many other actions the United States takes, it will not be able to avoid losing to China in the competition. Moreover, all that the United States does will also be backfired by other countries. The United States will lose its image of justice in the world, become synonymous with greed, and even be equated with hegemonism and fascism. In order to protect themselves, the United States allies and quasi-allies may compromise with China alone, take passive actions in the United States anti-China network, and bring China more living space. At the same time, they may choose to develop multilateral relations, reduce their dependence on the US dollar and the US military, and seek diplomatic independence. The vast majority of third world countries, witnessing the United States' arrogance, will also unswervingly strengthen cooperation with China to avoid being kidnapped by the United States and becoming its slaves. The short-term carnival created by Trump is like a man who takes Viagra. Although he becomes bigger, he cannot last long. After the excitement, weakness and emptiness come again, and he eventually falls into the abyss. Such a country is far from being great.